I'm going to get started today. So you get to put up with me today. I didn't have someone lined up, so here I am. But and I feel like I said earlier, I feel like I'll be preaching to the choir because I'm going to talk about networking and the mistakes that I see made. And so we'll go ahead and start here. So I have started this role with Centersphere, and what I've been doing is I've been trying to go out and visit a lot of chapters and get to know some people and really really step up my networking game. And um, what I've found is as I speak to some of these groups, things that maybe you all and I feel like are just kind of common sense sometimes aren't, and not everybody's on the same page as far as networking is concerned. I always say that networking is there's this word inside of networking called work, and if you're not working at it, then it's not going to do you any good. um, I've had folks ask me, or they'll say something like, well, Centersphere is just not doing anything for me. Well, I can already tell you that is the wrong attitude. Because if you're waiting for Centersphere to do something for you, then you're already taken out of the game. So here's a couple mistakes that I see. So I see people coming into when you're coming into a group like Centersphere, where you're in a chapter and you look around the room and you start selling. That is a big mistake. Do not start selling to your group. What you want to do is you want to look at that group, and obviously you're there to build relationship, you're there to build trust, and you want to train that group of people as your sales and marketing team. If you had a sales and marketing team in your business, every week would you come in and sell to them? You would not come in and sell to them. You would train them on what you're looking for, what a good referral looks like, and don't just stop there. What's the next step? How do you bring up when you hear something that triggers, okay, this person could be a good referral for my roofer. Okay, so what's the next step? How do you bring that up in conversation? And then once you've got someone who's interested, how do you connect? I mean, we're all different, so I may want, for me, a connection through an email would be fine. Maybe a connection of, hey, I talked to my neighbor and they are interested in hearing about, they know they have some damage to their roof. They are expecting your call. I've told them about you, so training those people around you. Another mistake I see is not having any goals associated with your networking. I think we all have goals we should all have goals in regards to our business, our nonprofit, whatever that might be. And however you set those goals, I'm not getting into that today, but have goals for your networking. So in your group, okay, maybe it's to give X amount of referrals. Maybe it's to create X amount of connections. Maybe it is to receive X amount of referrals and close business. Having goals for that group, having goals when you go into a social networking type of event, like it was in Lincoln today, where what I do is, and I didn't do it well today, I will have to admit, but my goal going into a chamber after hours or a Centersphere Coffee and Connections or whatever it might be is to meet two people that I've not met before. Because if you go into a group like that and you think, well, I've got to meet everybody in the room. That's a little over. For some of you that might be what you do, but for me that's overwhelming. And so I try to meet two people that I've never met before, because what happens is you walk into a room and who do you go to first? You go to someone that you know, and then you kind of stay there. And then you go to talk to someone else that you know, and then you stay there. Um, so make it a goal, just two people. Um, Going back to where I started, the what's in it for me mentality. If you have that, you might as well just get out of the networking group, because if you come into it with that what's in it for me, then you're going to fail. I can tell you right now. So what I tell people is when they join a group like Centersphere, a chapter, and they come in, do not expect a referral for 6 months to maybe to a year, depending on your industry. I'll get some looks like, well, why wouldn't I expect to get some stuff out of Centersphere right away? Well, here's the thing. So you go in, you do the work, you build the relationships, and you work super hard to try to get referrals for those folks. How can I help you? How can I help you? Um, and you're going to find out that if you're that person that's giving referrals and connecting, that it's going to come back to you. I know Doug is. I've talked to Doug quite a bit over the past few months, and I've seen he is connecting people right and left. And you know what's happening? He's connecting them to other people. And I think sounds like Doug he's going to be busy for a while. 2020 has been a good year for Doug, but he's put in the work. The other thing is expecting referrals out of obligation, because you're in this group. Again, it kind of goes back to what's in it for me. So if you're a financial advisor, I can tell you, you're going to be super lucky to get a referral in 6 months in coming into a chapter. That is a high trust industry. You don't just hand your keys over to them right now. You've got to build some trust. And so someone who's in that industry, they may not get a referral for a year. I mean, I've heard of that. But if they're in there and they're the ones that are connecting others, they're building that relationship, then it's going to come. Now, if you're a florist and you come into a chapter, you're probably going to get a referral that week. It's a very low trust industry. So if you're somewhere in the middle, again, don't expect it. The other thing is people that don't show up. I know that, again, I'm totally preaching to the choir here. You guys show up. If you don't show up, I mean, you're not doing any good. You got to show up to go up, right? I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. If you're not there and you're not engaged, then your membership or whatever it's useless. The other thing that I see, I don't see a lot in Centersphere because people sniff this out pretty quick, but I call it business card burnout. So I was a chamber ambassador for years, and so I went to all the after hours, all the coffees, everything. And for the most part, you're going to see a lot of the same people. And then every now and then you've got that person that you see everywhere for 3 months, maybe less. They go around to everybody in the room, grab all their cards, and then call them up and sell to them. And then 3 months later, you're like, where did that guy go? And so you've got to show up. And so what you have to do is you can't be in everything. You can't be in the chamber, the LIBAs, the Centerspheres, the BNIs, and every other networking group out there. You just can't. You have to pick and choose. And then when you choose the one that you're going to be at it every time, because if you don't, you're absolutely wasting your time. So those are some of the mistakes I see. There is occasions where you're in a networking group and you are working hard, and you don't see anything out of it. What I would say is a couple things. If you feel like the culture of the group you're in doesn't fit you, then you need to find something else. There are groups out there that kind of have a, every group, whether it be Chamber, LIBA, Centersphere, BNI, they all have cultures. And if you don't, if you're in a group that doesn't fit your culture, then you need to find something else. And so don't be afraid to do that. Because a very small percent of the time, it could be the group you're in. But anyway, some mistakes that I see. If there's any questions, we're about 10:30. But if you got any questions, I'd love to answer if I can.
Did you say question? I'm sorry, I had to take a quick call. My dad at the assisted living. I just want to add something that, first of all, you're right. I mean, it's all about how we serve. I know John and you and others, we've talked about this in our lives. It's a carryover. How can we serve? You know how I've begin my chat thing and all that. How can I help you? And I'm big on introductions. We don't really track that. An introduction to me, a warm handoff, is not a referral. I know we've talked about that before, Aaron. I don't enter all that stuff like maybe some do or some don't. I don't get into all that. If it closes the business, then I enter it. And to me, that's really what it's about. I've introduced, there's 4 people that are on just referral steroids recently. I've made 33 introductions to these 3 people with different people I know, and they've reciprocated in the last 3 weeks. It's crazy. And this is Omaha, Lincoln. But the work, it's coming to fruition now.
Yeah, and I totally see that. For the people that'll be watching this later, I would highly recommend that you set up a one-to-one with Doug. Joe, I mean, you guys, there's a reason why success is coming your way. I mean, you're doing the things. You're out there. You're doing the work. Remember, networking. It's not. I joke. I say it's not net sitting around waiting for a referral. It's networking, and so you've got to put in the work, and it comes back.
And it's not net wish marketing either.
Yeah, right? Net wishing. I like it. Well, hey, thanks a lot.
Or net waiting.
Yeah, I mean, there could be some waiting there, but you've got to work while you're waiting. So
there's nothing better than a warm handoff on an email. I'll take one quick scenario with Zen Granite. Jennifer Harrelson, get with her. Renee Sabatka, get with her. There's a couple more. Leslie Dewey up in Omaha Security Cameras. If you don't know them, I can hook you up. These are referral machines, make me look like an infant. These people understand it, and they are fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, you guys, thanks for jumping on today. You guys have a great rest of your Friday and finish strong.
Take care, everybody.
We'll see you.